Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shut Up and Read. Today I'll be doing my reading stats for 2019 as well as some reading plans for 2020. So for this video, I have my computer over here and I'm just going to go through some very basic stats from my Goodreads as well as some other stats that I calculated in terms of my genres, what age range, as well as what format I read the books in. So Goodreads over here shows that I read 308 books, but I think there was some sort of glitch going on because when I calculated afterward, it was only 306. So some of the numbers from the Goodreads stats will be a little bit skewed, but not by much. And then I read a total of 115,627 pages. So that is pretty freaking amazing. And then in terms of shortest book versus longest book, it shows that my longest book was Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. This book was actually on my worst books of 2019, which I will link somewhere above in case you want to check that out. So it was a really long book, guys. Like way too long to be honest. And then in terms of the shortest book, it was Little Witches by Leigh Dragu. This was a graphic novel, so it makes sense that it was pretty short at 143 pages. And it shows that my average length was 375 pages, which is actually pretty good, I think. Then the next stats is most popular versus least popular. So the most popular one was A Game of Thrones, which is pretty much a given. I'm not at all surprised. And then my least popular was How to Experience Death for Beginners, which I also included in my worst books of 2019. So again, I am not surprised. And the most fascinating stats that I think Goodreads give you is the average rating, and mine is 3.5, which I think is an improvement from last year. I feel like last year I had like a 3.3 or something like that. So at least the books I read in 2019 were slightly better. So that is it in terms of my Goodreads stats. Moving on to the three stats that I just kind of did for myself. Originally I was going to go more to nitty-gritty in terms of all the contemporary books that I read, which were young adult, etc., but that is just like too much and I feel like it's not really necessary. So my three stats are really just what type of genre they are. So as you can clearly see from this picture here, fantasy is my number one at 43.5%. I am not at all surprised. And then my contemporary, I'm actually kind of surprised there because a quarter of them at about 25% were contemporary, and then the rest were a mix of sci-fi, nonfiction, mystery thriller, horror, historical fiction, as well as graphic novel / manga. I just put graphic novel and manga together. It just made more sense for me. But I am definitely going to try to work on more sci-fi and historical fiction because I feel like I really like those two genres, and I guess I just didn't really read that much this year. And mystery thriller I enjoy as well, but that is actually a pretty normal range for me in terms of how often I read mystery thrillers. Okay, then moving on to the age range, and this is basically where I talk about if they're adult, middle grade, new adult, or young adult. So as you can clearly see from this pie chart, young adult is the winner at almost 75%. I also read a good portion of adult at 16%, and then my middle grade is very low at 2.6%, and then my new adult, I've been reading a lot more of those, and I feel like all the contemporaries I read, a good portion of them were the new adults. So I don't think I read any other genres that were new adults. And then finally, we're at the last stats I have for you guys, and that is in terms of what format I read the books in, just because I'm just really curious to find out how many audiobooks I read, because I feel like the only reason I can read so much is because I utilize audiobooks a lot. And so I was curious to see the percentage in terms of my audiobooks, my physical books, and my ebooks. So if you see this pie chart over here, it says that physical I read 44%, and then my audiobook I read 40%, which honestly is really similar. I mean, 44 and 40 is like really close. And then my ebook over here is 16%, so it's definitely the least, which I am not at all surprised. But anyways, that is it in terms of my reading stats for 2019. Moving on to my reading plans for 2020. So 2020 will be crazy. I once again will have a 300 Goodreads goal, and I feel like I can do it. I mean, for the past 2 years I've read more than 300 books. I think the previous year I read like 320, and then this year I read 306. So 300 for me is quite doable. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can read that much again. And this time around though, for 2020, I'm going to change things up a little bit in terms of my channel. I used to post twice a week, but because of other obligations and responsibilities, I think I want to lower that down to once a week now. And so because of that, each month I only have maybe 4, possibly 5 videos, and out of those 4 to 5 videos a month, I want to have one of them that is definitely a bullet journal type of video, so usually go plan with me or something like that, and then the rest are kind of just up in the air. I will do my TBR videos, and I will continue to do them every 2 months just because I really like that format. It gives me less stress in terms of how many books I read every month, because I usually put a lot of books and then I become very stressed in terms of the readathons I also want to participate and when those books don't correlate. So that is very frustrating for me. So I will continue to do the every 2-month TBR, but then the other videos might be something like book recommendations, reading vlogs. I do want to do an ARC reading vlog, something similar to Chelsea, so I'm gonna do something like that as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But that's kind of the plan in terms of my channel right now. I will still do book hauls, but I won't do them on a monthly basis anymore. I might do them more on like a quarterly basis. I definitely want to focus more on quality content versus quantity. So hopefully by lowering the number of videos I have every week, I can focus on the quality instead. So anyway, that is it in terms of this very short reading stats slash reading plans for 2020 slash channel update kind of video. If you have any sort of suggestions in terms of what kind of videos you want to see from me in the future, let me know down below in terms of vlogs or recommendations or anything. Just let me know as well. I'm also really curious to find out how you guys did for 2019. How many books did you read? What is your goal for 2020? What was your favorite book of 2019? What was your least favorite books of 2019? Which, by the way, I actually did both the best books and worst books of 2019, so I will link that somewhere above in case you want to check that out. But as always, that's all I have to say for this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!